baby, baby. Come a little closer, babe. My corona, my corona, my corona, my coronavirus, my coronavirus. I'm not trying to make fun of it. I'm trying to make light of the fact that there is a coronavirus amongst us. And I hope I don't have it, boy, because I got this dry cough. It's pretty fucking persistent. All right, so let's talk about the coronavirus. There seems to be a lot of new information coming out. It's a lot of regurgitated stuff. But for the most part, let's have a look what's going on here in the world of corona. Coronavirus origin traced to animal market in Wuhan, tests confirm. Go figure, right? So experts have confirmed that the deadly coronavirus outbreak began at a wholesale animal market in the central Chinese city of Wuhan, a report said. Now, I've always said the karma of beating the shit out of animals and trapping them and chopping their legs off and eating them and brutalizing them and such has a karmic effect. You can't be evil and then just, and go hug your children and say, look how wonderful you are. You can't do that. It's cause and effect. So this is pretty interesting that it has led back the cause of a virus that's killing off humans is a result of the effect of fucking with animals. Wow. Scientists with Chinese Center for Disease Control and Prevention said tests show that the pneumonia-like virus initially jumped from animals to humans at the Wuhan seafood wholesale market. Wow. The now shuttered market, which sold live animals including wolf pups, foxes, rats, and peacocks, had previously been reported as the epicenter of the virus. The 31 of the 33 samples were collected from the western zone of the market, where booths of wildlife trading concentrated. Wow. The result suggests that the novel coronavirus outbreak is highly relevant to trading of wild animals. The virus has killed 80 people so far and infected 2,700. Again, I dispute those numbers. We don't know the actual numbers. The numbers could be as high as 100,000 dead and, hundreds of thousands infected. We just don't know. 5 million people scattered from the city of Wuhan since the thing spread. So that's that. So ground zero appears to be a wild animal market in Wuhan, right? Where they eat bats and they eat wolf puppies. Fucking savages, right? They're savages. Why don't you eat tofu? Why don't you try some tofu? Half of Wuhan fled before lockdown, raising risk of corona spread. Talking about the spread, all right? So you say to yourself, oh yeah, the Chinese, they quarantined their people of 11 million. You can't leave. They bull fucking shit. Half of them fled. Half of the population fled. So it's spreading. Nearly half the population of the Chinese city at the heart of the coronavirus outbreak left town before it was put on lockdown. Half. Wuhan's mayor said on Sunday that 5 million people left the city during the Lunar New Year travel rush, raising fears of a global pandemic. The flu-like illness has so far killed 81 people, 2,800. Again, disputable. The exodus from the city of 11 million took place during the 24-hour December 30th, when the first reports of the infection emerged, and Thursday when the city was effectually quarantined. Travelers took off to Hong Kong, Thailand, Singapore, Japan, as well as other parts of China. And where else? So probably Europe, probably wherever they could get a plane trip, right? Wherever they get a ticket. 17 cities in China encompass more than 50 million people. This shit is spreading. This shit is spreading. What else can we learn? Number of coronavirus cases surpasses SARS as China holds 60,000 under observation. Now it's 60,000? Japan, Germany confirm human-to-human transmission. U.S., UK warn citizens to avoid all non-essential travel to China. 6,490 cases confirmed, 131 deaths. The numbers are all over the place. Now there's 6,000. President Xi from China is taking the devil virus very seriously. Devil virus. Reports that China has refused U.S. offer of assistance. Reports that China has refused U.S. offer of assistance and that Beijing is withholding data. See, I think so too. Thailand reported 6 new cases, bringing total number to 14. And that's a low ball because there's a lot of people in Thailand that could get sick and they're poor and they're not going to go to the hospital. This doesn't account for poor people. It only accounts for the tourists that are going to go into the hospital and say, I don't feel well. Help me. So Wuhan viruses, again, numbers all over the place. Total 6,049. I don't know. It just doesn't seem right. So the shit is spreading. What other news? Is this man behind the global coronavirus pandemic? Is this the guy right here? Is this ground zero for corona? No one will ever know. I don't think that we'll ever be able to, zero it down to one market. But look at this place, man. You got a chicken over here waiting to get his head chopped off. You got this guy butchering turtles and butchering frogs. And you know what I'm saying, man? Live frogs for sale, fucking chicken. Everybody's going to get brutalized in a second. I just, it's karma. You know what I mean? In my view. In light of growing speculation, most of it within less than official circles, that the official theory for the spread of coronavirus epidemic, namely because someone ate bat soup at a Wuhan seafood and animal market. A bat, soup out of a bat. It's not necessarily, it depends on where the bat was. Bats are not poisonous by nature. Bats are, if a bat lives in a shithole and lives around shit and toxins, then the bat becomes shitty and toxic. That's how that shit works. It's like fish swimming around in polluted water. The fish wasn't polluted before the polluted water. The water got polluted, and the fish swam through the polluted water and became polluted, and then you ate it. Bro, that's how that shit works. So there's a lot of statistics here. Who cares, really? Just, it is spreading, and it is likely that it's a pandemic that started at this little brutalizing, market where they brutalize the shit out of animals. What else can we find out? Beijing economist. China GDP growth could shrink by below 5% due to coronavirus outbreak. Now the numbers. Only a couple of, 6,000 people 6,000 people are infected in a society of 1.4 billion, and you're telling me the economy is going to sink? Or is it a lot bigger than we think it is? Is it a lot bigger? Because always look to the numbers for the answer. So Beijing economists are predicting that that GDP growth could sink below 5%. That's pretty powerful right there. You know what I mean? When the money pays attention, when the money starts turning and paying attention. So China government economists estimate that the impact of coronavirus on China's economy could be significantly bigger than that of SARS outbreak. So money, here's an interesting one that I find fascinating in this country. Actually, it's not in this country yet, but it's in the UK, which is quite similar. I would expect that the far left snowflakes, the child protectors on campuses. Oh, we have to protect the children from the vile discrimination that may evolve out of coronavirus. Now listen to this. This is interesting. UK schools warn to watch out for xenophobia, fear of things different than yourself, as coronavirus spreads. The UK Boarding Schools Association is more concerned about mean words on the internet than the outbreak of coronavirus, warning its students that any expression of xenophobia against Chinese people will not be tolerated. All right, this is interesting, and it is. I mean, kids are brutal. They say coronavirus. It starts in China, and then all Chinese people have coronavirus. I get that part of it. Kids are brutal. Kids are relentless in their attacks on each other. So it is something, but we're talking about teenagers, right? And how far? I mean, look. I'm not going to go to. I shop in Chinatown all the time, and there's certain markets down there that I would be a little cautious to go down at this time, right? And they are wearing masks, right? Is that xenophobia? No, it's common sense. It's common sense. Hold on. It's common sense in the fact that you could have a couple of crazies hopping off the plane from Wuhan and say, I need job. I need job. You help me. I need job. Right? You just can't. You don't know for sure who is who. Now, in Wuhan, apparently they speak Mandarin, mainstream Mandarin, but there's also different dialects. There's Fujianese. There's Cantonese when you go to these places. Right? When you go down to Chinatown, they're speaking all different languages. But the point is that that these schools are already jumping to not condemn someone who just happens to be Chinese as having coronavirus. Interesting. Despite the fact that there has been no such recorded instance of xenophobia by the association, it is issuing new instructions that its members should be watchful for prejudice against Chinese pupils by others, be it online or in person. You talk about an overreaction, right? You talk about an overreaction. I could see that happening here. I could see college campuses across America already setting up, handing out flyers. They're handing out flyers. Watch, no xenophobia. Kiss a Chinese person. Kiss the Chinese person. Don't discriminate. You can see shit like that happening already, right? We're a radical country, man. We're radicalized, right? It's radical ideas, right? It's a virus. It's a virus, and someone who looks like they might have the virus, you can't discriminate against the person because that's discrimination. You're supposed to be able to hug the person and possibly contract a deadly disease rather than you might offend them. You're supposed to die of coronavirus before you are allowed to offend somebody and possibly insult somebody and say, keep your fucking coronavirus to yourself, goddammit. Wow. Marcus Conte reporting.